I never imagined my dream home would turn into a nightmare. When I bought this place, it wasn't just a house. It was a symbol of everything I had worked for. The freshly painted shutters, the perfectly trimmed lawn, the warm porch light that greeted me at night, this was supposed to be my sanctuary. But one cold morning, I woke up to a bright red sign hammered into my front yard. The letters were bold, impossible to miss. Sold. At first, I thought it was some kind of sick prank. But the more I looked at it, the more I realized this wasn't a joke. My own home, the house I had built memories in, was being sold out from under me. And the worst part? I hadn't agreed to anything. I hadn't even been told. My heart raced as I stormed to the HOA office, the polished building with its fake smiles and perfectly manicured hedges. Inside, the board members sat around their long mahogany table, sipping coffee like nothing was wrong. When I demanded answers, they exchanged looks with the kind of smug arrogance that makes your blood boil. "We followed protocol," one of them finally said, leaning back in his chair. His name was Douglas, gray suit, silver hair, and a voice so cold it could freeze the sun. "You violated community rules too many times. Unpaid fines, late fees, overgrown grass, a shed that wasn't approved. We acted within our rights." I felt the world tilt beneath me. Late fees? Grass? A shed? Was this how they justified stealing someone's home? My fists clenched as I realized what was happening. The HOA wasn't protecting the neighborhood. They were vultures, circling, waiting for the right moment to strike. But here's the thing about me. I don't go down without a fight. At first, I tried reasoning. I went through every record, every piece of paper, determined to prove them wrong. But every time I brought evidence, it mysteriously disappeared from their files. Notices I had paid, gone. Receipts, missing. It was like someone was deliberately erasing my trail. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't incompetence. This was sabotage. The more I dug, the darker it got. I discovered the HOA had sold off 2 other homes in the neighborhood under suspicious circumstances. Families who vanished overnight. Houses flipped within weeks, sold to developers who just happened to have close ties to Douglas and the other board members. Suddenly, I wasn't just fighting for my home. I was uncovering a conspiracy. But the HOA wasn't about to let me expose them. One evening, as I pulled into my driveway, I noticed a black SUV parked across the street. Same SUV the next morning, and the night after that. When I walked toward it, the car sped off. My phone began receiving anonymous calls. Silence on the other end, just heavy breathing. And then came the letter, slipped under my door. "Drop this, or lose more than your house." That should have scared me into stopping, but instead it fueled me. They thought intimidation would break me, but it only made me sharper. I hired a private investigator, a man named Carter who had once worked on corporate fraud cases. Together, we started piecing together the HOA's secrets. We uncovered secret bank accounts, money funneled from community improvement funds into offshore shells. We found evidence of forged signatures, backdated fines, and sham meetings where decisions were made without homeowners present. The deeper we went, the more dangerous it became. One night, Carter's car was forced off the road. He survived barely, but the message was clear. We were getting too close. Still, he refused to back down. "If we don't stop them," he told me from his hospital bed, "they'll do this to everyone." That night, I couldn't sleep. My house felt less like a home and more like a battlefield. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of wind outside the window made my nerves jolt. I realized I was fighting something much bigger than I thought. This wasn't just about one house, it was about power, greed, and control. And then, just when I thought it couldn't get worse, I got the final blow. The sheriff knocked on my door with an eviction notice. According to the HOA's records, the sale was final. My house legally belonged to someone else now. I had 7 days to vacate, 7 days to lose everything, but they underestimated me. Instead of packing boxes, I launched my last move. I leaked everything, every forged document, every shady transfer, every illegal vote, to the press. I called local news, state officials, even the FBI. Within 48 hours, my story wasn't just mine anymore. It was everywhere. Reporters crowded the neighborhood. Cameras flashed. Microphones shoved in the faces of board members who once sat so smugly behind closed doors. And that's when the dominoes started to fall. Neighbors who had stayed silent came forward with their own stories. Families who had lost their homes in the same twisted scheme finally spoke up. Together, our voices became too loud to silence. The Attorney General launched an investigation. The FBI raided the HOA offices. Douglas and the others were led out in handcuffs, their polished suits replaced with orange jumpsuits. But the most unforgettable moment was the day I stood on my lawn, the same lawn they claimed was overgrown, and tore that red "Sold" sign out of the ground with my bare hands. The cameras caught it, the neighborhood cheered, and for the first time in months, I felt like my home was truly mine again. You'd think that would be the end of it. But here's the part that still haunts me. A few weeks later, I received a call from Carter. He had dug deeper into the HOA's financials while the investigation was underway. What he found was chilling. The money trail didn't stop with our neighborhood. It led to a network of HOAs across the state, maybe even the country, all pulling the same stunt, stealing homes under the guise of rules and flipping them for profit. And Douglas? He wasn't the mastermind. He was just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. So, while I may have won my house back, the war is far from over. Because somewhere out there, another family is about to wake up to a red sign in their yard. Another home is about to be stolen, and I can't shake the feeling that one day, the people behind all this will come knocking again. But this time, I'll be ready.